Hello there, Shirley. I wasn't going to bother making a video today, but this is newsworthy. I've had a plan for quite a while to get myself a second half plot. So I've got my main full plot, which is mostly beds with a few fruit trees, and then of course you've got the chickens and the sheds and the greenhouse and everything else. But I wanted a little half plot so that I could have a cider orchard. Me and my cousin, a couple of years ago, we produced some pretty spot on cider. And there was a plan at one time that I was going to have that plot over there. That didn't happen. The people who left it, they emigrated back to Portugal. Returned to Portugal when they retired. So that plot was going spare, and they went to the people in charge, whoever they are. I've got no idea, to be honest. Whoever it is who's in charge of the allotments around here. Went to them and said, oh, we'd like James to have that when we go. And they were told, sorry, it doesn't work like that. There's a waiting list. Well, that's just sat there for a year, becoming a terrible mess. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm standing on Sue and Vern's plot here, my neighbours. I'm sure they won't mind me giving you a quick look. There's all Sue's flowers. They've got two plots. They used to have three, but as they get older, they've downsized a bit. This is their second plot. Now this half here, can you see, with the raspberries and the fruit trees, they've just given me that. Now what I was after was a half plot on which to grow some cider apples. What I've got, look at this, it's amazing. What I've got is a half plot, and it's already got 2 apple trees. It's got something in the plum or cherry or damson family. That one's a cherry. This one is also plum family, and there's some various berries and whatnot, currants growing around the edge. But this little space here is exactly what I wanted. A little half plot where I don't have to waste time looking after beds. I can just prune trees, gather fruit and mow. That's all I need to do here. So in order to make decent cider, what I've got, that's an apple tree, obviously a dessert apple, a sweet eating apple, as is that one. And I've got 2 more of those just over there on my plot, my full plot. So what I'm going to do with the space I've got, we'll keep the plums and cherries, obviously, but I can see room for 2 more. One here, and one there. So I'm going to grow a cooking apple, and I'm going to grow a crab apple. Or, if not a crab apple, a designated proper cider apple. Something that's way too sour to eat, but it's exactly what you're looking for making nice cider. That came out of the blue today. Sue and Vern came over to me and said, are you having that one over there? I said, no, God knows what's happening with that. It's a right mess. They said, I'll tell you what, you want apple trees, don't you? I said, yeah. So there you go. They've got a few years head start. I was originally planning on having to clear a bit of land and then put in some really tiny little young trees and wait for them to grow. Well, look at what I've been given. I couldn't ask for more. It's my own perfect little mini orchard. Lovely. Prune me 2 apple trees whilst I'm in a kind of apple tree mood. Now this over here, yeah, this has been kind of my ultimate no-dig challenge. I've not actually shown you this bed before. You've seen it, but I've not actually explained it in any way. About 2 months ago, this was 4 foot high with docks, nettles, all the nasty stuff that you don't want in a bed. And this is where I grow my brassicas. I don't rotate my brassicas. I know the traditional advice is to rotate your crops, and I generally do. potatoes won't be there next year. The potatoes will be over here. I mean, squashes and sweet corn won't be there. They'll be over where the onions are, next to the chickens. I do follow a rough rotation, except for my brassicas. Now that's your cabbages, broccoli, swede, cauliflower, anything in that family. There's a lot of there's a disease on this site. Everybody gets it. There's a disease called clubroot. Now the way to defeat clubroot is to keep adding lots of lime to your soil. Clubroot likes acidic conditions. So if you add lime, or alternatively as I do, wood ash, anything along those lines, the clubroot, which is what is it? Is it a fungus? No, it's not a fungus. Oh, it's not a fungus. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever the clubroot is, it can't survive these alkaline conditions. However, most other plants don't like alkaline conditions. If I tried to grow my sweet corn in this alkaline bed, it wouldn't do well at all. Brassicas, they're fine with it. They don't mind at all. So that's the reason my brassicas don't get rotated. They get grown in this same bed every year. It's always limed, it's nice and alkaline, and it's very, very heavily fed with nitrogen. That's what they need in terms of feed, because it's all leaves, isn't it? So very, very heavily fed with nitrogen. Now, as I was saying, about, I don't know, 6-8 weeks ago, this was full up with horrible weeds, and I thought, I'm not digging that lot out. I'm not getting rid of those roots. It was horrendous. If you look back over the videos, you'll probably see little glimpses of it. It was horrible. All I did, I went over with a big blade, and I just cut the lot down, and I didn't even bother clearing up. I left the roots in the ground. I left all the stalks and the leaves and the seed heads and everything else. I just left it all where it lay, and then I covered it all over with corrugated cardboard. There's 2 layers of corrugated cardboard over the whole bed. On top of that, I added whatever I had. There's a mixture of compost, there's a mixture of sawdust, wood shavings, leaf mould, chicken litter. There's a bit of everything, about 3 inches of it. And then on top of that, I laid all these sheets of polycarbonate and everything else, covered it all up and left it for like 6 weeks, you know. So that killed off the heat that built up, because this is in direct sunlight. The heat that built up under those cooked all of the seeds and everything that are underneath. It would have killed off a good number of the roots as well. I've just uncovered it today. I've come back and I'm going to plant me swede and me cauliflower in there. So I've uncovered it all. I have used a few. I don't like doing it. You can see the little blue specks. I have used a few of the iron-based slug pellets, which are supposedly harmless to other stuff, but even so, where I've put them, I'm going to net in, so no birds, hedgehogs, frogs can get to them anyway. I've put down an extra layer of newspaper, a few bags of bought-in compost, and I'm going to stick my swede and my cauliflower in there, and then just quickly net over it. The long-term plan is this is going to be a big walk-in brassica cage. I've not got that far yet. I've got the materials just to cover it over and keep them safe from the butterflies. I've got the plants just over there. Let's have a quick look. She's back on the road. People name their old treasured cars, don't they? This one needs a Swedish name. What's her name? That's it. I've got it. I named thee Greta, ironically. Right. Here we go. These have been sitting at home. They're well and truly ready to go in. They're good, strong, healthy plants now. Let me get this right. That's the swede. That's the cauliflower. So I'm going to get those in, and we'll come back and have a look once that's done. There's the first couple in the ground. I thought I'd just quickly show you a bit of allotment archaeology. Here you go, look. So you can get an idea of what these are being planted into. Let's see if we can actually get it on the camera. Yeah, it's not too bad. You can see you got this, where's my finger? There it is. You got this top layer of compost and newspaper that I've just put down today. Below that, come back finger, below that, you've got all the it's sawdust in this particular patch. Elsewhere it's going to be leaf mould or whatever. And you can just see a few bits of that there. That's a bit of the weeds that I just cut down and covered over. And then right down the bottom there, you've got the natural soil. Now, luckily, brassicas like to be buried nice and deep. So I'm going down right through all of this unrotted material, right down into the natural soil. It will be buried up to about there, as these two are, right up to their necks, so that the roots are down in the soil getting all the goodness. Gosh, it's going to take me a little while. Crack on. At long last, they're all in. That's 8 swede and 8 cauliflowers. All heavily mulched, so we shouldn't be getting any weeds coming through. I've used a few slug pellets, which I don't like doing, but we've got these rebar frames in place, and I'm going to cover the whole lot over with this butterfly netting, which is too small to be any danger to frogs or anything like that, you know, birds, hedgehogs. I'm just going to drape that over the top, keep the insects off and keep the other wildlife out. That took longer than expected. Cider, here we come. Bonus.